Briskly, sunshine glints off my frisbee crisply, knows how it goes with the sand between our toes. We got both of the pivots and all of the throws. Got to hold the disc and move it at the right time. When you flick your wrist and you're feeling sublime, compose your throws, not discuss fluttery. Tricks from the brick and your biscuits buttery. Feel the spirit, stretch every sinew, stream, encourage, yeah, we continue. Take my hand, yeah, come with me. From the disc to the sand, to the beach, to the sea. There's magic in the air. All you have to do is catch it. EBUCC 2022.
Welcome back to the action in the Algarve. It's EBUCC 2022. The dulcet tones of Tom Stiles alongside myself, Hannah Pendlebury, on the call for this women's division match between Peach Please of Ireland versus Copenhagen Hucks of Denmark. And it is going to be a stormer of a match. These two teams having played E6 as their Swedish opponents in this women's pool C, one of the pools of 3 here in the women's division. Of course, the format meaning that both of these teams are still in a shot for having a pre-quarter matchup regardless of the outcome. This will just decide who has the easier matchup. We're expecting it might be Copenhagen Hucks as household name Maya Milek puts one up over the top. Good giving and going on the far sideline now. There is expanse and space and room for the first goal that goes into Helle Horvang, one of the Horvang sisters on this Hucks squad.
Yeah, quick start from Hucks, moving it down very, very nicely. And looking at the results, we should just talk about the results here. 13-3 was the score, E6 beating Peach Please. And when they came against Copenhagen Hucks, the score is much, much closer, 10-8. So E6 winning both of those games, but we think that Copenhagen are going to be a strong side, and Peach Please are going to have their work cut out.
Well, having a chat to E6 ahead of the game, they actually were saying that they thought, because of course this is a bit of a strange pool format with only 3 teams in it. That first game for Peach Please at 1:45 this afternoon, they hadn't quite found their rhythm together as a squad. They are a little bit of a mixture of individuals. Not all true Irish, I believe. Some friends coming along to help out. But of course, if they can find their flow and their feet here, it could be a beautiful game indeed. Jessica Chambers there on the goal line, looking around for options in a rather nice visor. Of course, plays her club Ultimate for Gravity, who had a fun campaign at UCF, but there's a stall out that's going to be called on Chambers.
Yeah, that big disc from Castillo. Well, you know her from the work she puts in with Yaka, as current club side. But she spent 3 years living in Ireland and played with Gravity while she was over there. So there's a lot of connections back to this Peach Please side. They're all from University College Dublin.
And I'm sure we'll have plenty of UCD fans in the chat. Do let us know that you're here. The temperature has risen by 1 full degree Celsius to a lovely 25 degrees C. And that wind picking up also a little bit earlier, but now has dropped back down and is but fluttering around in our lovely stadium arena flags. So a rather elongated discussion, but looks like the disc will stay where it is in the palms of Castillo. Finds Chambers again. An easy pop through, and that is the first point on the board. Peach Please put one in. And it's to Kubra Suleimani, who actually appeared on the Masterclass side for the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships back in Ireland.
Yeah, Suleimani cutting free, but it was Castillo and Chambers that did all the hard work there, getting the disc down and managing to get that disc out on stall 9.5, it must have been. It was a good chat they had, but it stayed with Castillo and into the end zone for that first point. One apiece. And sand is a very different surface, Hannah. When teams come to play this, and UCD, Peach Please, they had no hesitation in saying, look, we've not played a lot of sand. We've played, all Irish nationals where they finished second. They were beaten by Pelt, the women's team from Pelt. So this is not their kind of natural habitat, but if they get adjusted, and they could start making some progress.
Well, the fingertips of the defense trying to prevent the big arm of Maya Milek. She shoots over the top and scores to Caroline Kramer.
Yeah, Milak has got an arm for days and found that perfect disc down the line and into the end zone for the goal.
Well, I already called her earlier on in this game household name Maya Milek. If you're not familiar with her, what rock have you been hiding under, Ultimate fans?
She's played everywhere. She did a couple of seasons with Iceni. And where was she playing her trade this summer? She was definitely.
I'm going to hang you out on a string.
She was definitely in Cincinnati. I can't remember which shirt she was wearing.
It's all right. I mean, you would be forgiven for not knowing. Honestly, you line me up for it, and I'm not entirely sure myself. But
you called her household name. I think she's playing with an American side.
Well, I tell you what, we'll have to find out, because it would be remiss not to. And I'm sure with the wonderful results site for Cincinnati, we can get that factage for you, dear sports fans. But that's going to be excellently run down and smacked into the sand. That's got to be a Chorvang sister. Of course it is. It's Rika Chorvang getting the block and generating the turn for Hucks. This could, of course, be the first break opportunity of the game. Knir is going to put it, but there's a little stumble on the run underneath.
Yeah, the separation was there. It wasn't necessarily the wrong shot. And that breeze coming off the Atlantic, blowing the disc away from the receiver, but there's always a little bit too much pepper for that. A bit too quick there, brought it back, and great defense.
Anna Nissen with the high hand block. Kurt puts it across. It's going to be double happiness. Oh, no, it's not. Just sails between both the hands.
And that is why, as a defender, you chase down, you get near, you get the arms up, and even if you can't touch the disc, you are a presence. And that mental pressure from Maria Castillo there really put, was it Anna Nissen who was cutting across there to get the block, to get the grab and the goal, didn't connect.
And an adventurous hammer is going to sail immediately into the ground. A nice idea, but gravity being too much to be overcome, and a nice layout grab for Helle Trinderup. No stranger to the beach surface. Obviously played for the not Copenhagen, the Danish national team back at the EBUCC back in 2019 in this very venue. The Danish women didn't have quite the campaign they wanted to. They had a well-decorated roster, but didn't quite make it into the final.
No, it was a brilliant tournament. There's only 7 women's teams in that tournament, so it was quite an odd tournament. It was the Spanish. Was it the Spanish that won it in the end?
The Spanish took silver.
Okay.
The Russians cleaned up back in 2019.
They did, yes.
At the EBUCC. Of course, they are coached by a world championship level beach soccer coach, teaches them how to move dynamically on sand. So if you want a masterclass, go back in the annals of time and watch how the beach teams coming out of the Russian nation play. Of course, there are some slight complications these days on getting them to these events, which is a shame.
Yes.
But that's the current way of the world. A bit like when it was, you know, back in 2020 and 21 and all sorts of crazy other things were happening. So a bricked pool is going to be brought in bounds by Anissa Smith. It's going to immediately chuck it deep, but Chambers has other ideas. She's looking at coming under. Was given the deep, though, by Kramer. Milak has the space available, takes the option. Of course she does. Look at the yards, but it's going to be a sitter, a floater. Great read. And Chorvang reels it in.
Yeah, Milak's ability to throw that, 50-yard pass into the breeze on the perfect edge, leading the receiver deep into the end zone, away from the defender. Those are throwing skills that very few players have and are able to execute, as well as getting themselves free to put themselves in a place where they can execute them. Milak is one of those players.
Well, E6 said they did struggle to find an answer to the bombs of Maya Milak. But it's also good to see the give-go action. As we see another look at that one. Just sails over the top and curves down perfectly. So 3 on the trot for Copenhagen Hucks. Can they add another to their tally and prove dominant here? Suleimani popping it into Teheda. Doesn't like the look of the under she's given. Castillo eventually getting free, but a miscue on the shot.
You can't make those sorts of errors from the first pass from after it's been centred. You've got to make that cut connection.
Well, there was a soft poach off to try and confuse the space around Castillo. It's really easy to see that she is going to be one of the key threats for this Irish side. Oh, but there's complete acres of room for Hucks. Signals the goal and left Suleimani for dust.
Hucks, really intelligent feet. Watching the line, watching the disc, and being very conscious about where her first point of contact was.
A couple of these Copenhagen players are sporting some compression-y bits and pieces around their bodies. You see Hucks with a ankle brace. She's playing through that one, and Hucks there as well, with just the one sand sock over a bit of tapey business.
And Hucks is another player that's been playing most of her elite ultimate in with Yaka this year. They won Tom's tourney at the start of the season, had a really difficult time in Cincinnati because of COVID. But right here, the team from Ireland, Peach Please in the white.
But this is looking a lot better now. A little bit lost for options. Minion isolated on an island. She's going to have to just put it and hope, but nobody's underneath it. Aisling Naylor sort of hanging around in that space, but great pressure from the Danes.
Yes, you can see she'd run out of options at kind of stall 6, and nothing happened for her after that. The dump pass was really well marked out. Needed something a bit more dynamic to make that option free.
Well, perhaps the offense becoming a little bit predictable. Need to go through their playbook, find the depth. But this is nice, just easy movement near sideline. Turns around. Nor puts up a spicy biscuit that's well collected. Caroline Kramer puts her sunglasses on and grabs it with both hands.
Well, those are the most difficult discs to catch. Coming in over your shoulder, always going away from you the moment that you've got eyes on the disc. But brilliant awareness in the end zone. And Copenhagen are running away with this. That's 4 breaks on the bounce from that position on the sideline. Hucks finds the free pass and sends it soaring in. And who was the assist in the goal there, Hannah?
Nor through the assist. Excellent read.
She'd done all the hard work to get free in the end zone, but then the disc was arcing and she cut underneath it and almost took away the option to catch it herself. So it was a tough break there for Peach Please, because I think that was their best possession of the game so far.
I'm not sure if that freestyle body block off the chest of Castillo, but the confusion seems to have dazzled. And Suleimani able to catch up in the deep space with Simone Boulder.
Yeah, it was a sort of a bum Mac line, wasn't it? It was completely unintentional, but nearly got the block, but it finished in Copenhagen hands.
Well, clearly so much spin applied to that disc that it manages to pinball off of the defence. Hucks Just squeezing it down the sideline, and out goes the arm of Helle Trindrup. Just no respect at all for her body. Collects a big old wedge of sand on her chest, and the goal.
And they've done it in 14 minutes, not even 15 minutes, and they've taken the half. This is a demolition job by Copenhagen Hucks. They're really making very light work of this, and they're once they've had the disc, they've kept it really well. In fact, have they turned the disc over at all?
I don't believe so, Tom. It's just been absolute ruthless annihilation of your opponents. And Peach Please are calling to have a timeout as the half. Of course, there's no formal stoppage. Just play straight through, if you like. But that missed opportunity for Castillo. There was a point and throw she had to respond to from her teammate. A lot to ask, but another dynamic grab from Helle Hinderup on this last one. And as we say, lots of the Copenhagen Hucks side, of course, having played together at this very venue as the Danish women's team. But 3 years ago in the times BC, i.e. before COVID.
Those are the good times.
I mean,
and
the good times are coming back.
We're coming back, yeah.
We're now in the times PC. Post-COVID. Living with COVID. Trying to still avoid COVID, but not quite so stressed.
At least it's not the only thing that everybody's thinking about all of the time. And actually, most people have kind of arrived fairly relaxed. Very few masks. It's cool.
Well, having travelled around the Iberian Peninsula a little bit before coming to the Algarve to be in Portimão, it's been really interesting to see the difference. Of course, our home nation of the UK, not so much on the mask mandates, but in Spain, in spaces where people don't have necessarily the biggest choice in the world to be there or not to be there, they actually are keeping a lot of mask mandates. So a short field opportunity for Copenhagen Hucks. Of course, Maya Milek can throw a backhand or a forehand pretty much the entire pitch length on beach and outdoors. Off she goes into the deep space. Good switching downfield by Peach Please. Oh, that's going to be put right into the middle and tipped away at last. Peach Please get a bit of a break. Aisling Naylor coming through with the block.
Yeah, Kramer, the choice, she knew as soon as she'd thrown that wasn't the disc that was going to work, and apologising to the team with the body language. But a block going right back.
Helle Horvang set that one up. She baited that run through block and goes for the hammer layout score off the paws of Maya Milek, and Copenhagen Hucks continue to roll. But there was an opportunity there.
Well, that's Huck's first turnover. That Kramer throw into traffic was the first turnover, and the Peach Please possession lasted all of one pass before the block comes in. And the score is there from the put of Maya Milek.
Well, you could see a slight hesitation on the offence from Jana Stone. There was an undercut available in front of her when she had the disc. We're going to have another look at the block. Just throwing a little bit into traffic. You can see that one gets looked off, and then, yep, just baiting those unders. I think at the moment, might be nice to see Peach Please return to throwing a few more deep shots. They do have the separation available, especially when players are trying to double mark Maria Castillo, who's clearly such a threat. To hit it. Oh, nice one round the back for Castillo. She's going to launch it into the end zone, and at long last, Peach Please dig into the sand and uncover another point in this game. That's Darini Morgan. So at long last, another point on the board. That's one per half so far for Peach Please. He'll be, can't be unhappy with that. In fact, I think they might be quite pleased.
I think it's the tournament they've come here with. You know, I asked them about their expectations for the tournament, and I think they didn't come with expectations that they were going to win it. I think that was quite realistic. But they've not played a lot of beach. This is their first kind of international beach tournament that they've played as a squad. And along the way, you're going to come up against teams who have played on the beach a lot, have got a lot of experience, and this is learning. But they have had occasional glimpses that they've got speed and they've got athleticism and they've got throws. What they haven't got is the ability to live with Copenhagen Hucks, and it's a big margin at the moment, 8-2.
Oh, but an absolute lack of focus for Hucks is going to give an opportunity again for Peach, please. Chambers giving and going with Yana Stone around to Suleimani. Has Stone available for a dump. Oh, but misfires and shoots into the sand.
You wonder how many more opportunities like that they're going to get. Short field, Peach, please, not able to convert.
So close to the hands of Lauren Minion in the centre of that zony style look. A melt to match though now. Milek finds the target but has an overthrow. The wind just gusting up underneath it and taking the disc away from Caroline Kramer.
Yeah, that wind has come out of almost nowhere, and it made a significant difference. Milek's throw with the underside of the disc pointing towards the wind just gathered pace and gathered height as it drifted away from the receiver. So it's the first real messy point of the game. We've had... Is that the third turnover of the point already?
Well, either way, Chambers finds Stone. He's going to launch it. That's not got enough under it, though, and Maya Malek's going to collect with ease. Finding Horvang. Hello. Horvang up. Oh, an inside shot, well contained by Kramer. And straight into the box of Helle Horvang. And speaking of boxes, Tom, that is who Maya Malek played for in Cincinnati.
Yes. Yes, now you've... did you look that up, or have you just remembered?
I looked it up.
You looked it up, good. That's legit. That's legit.
There were a lot of teams there.
There were.
Although Box didn't quite find the magic we were expecting them to. They had a very star-studded roster, but lost out to the Pangolins of Singapore, which we had the pleasure of live streaming. That was a heckin' feisty game, a lot of physicality in it. But this game in front of us right now has been remarkably clean, despite the feisty bids.
Yeah, Helle Horvang with 1 block and 3 goals. Maya Milek with 3 assists of her own. And Kerr with the pull for Copenhagen Hucks, dominating against the Irish side. Peach, please.
Castillo playing that central role, but getting too hasty, trying to hit her teammate to hit her.
Tinderup had the hands there just to knock it down to the sand.
Yeah, I talked about the offense of Peach Please being a wee bit predictable. Not really paying attention to the traps that the defense is trying to set. Claire having to work so hard on that injured left ankle, puts a saucy biscuit into the end zone that's going to overshoot both of her teammates that had a go.
Yeah, it was the right idea. That throw had 2 people cutting towards it, but because she's got the edge away from the players, it's always accelerating and drifting away rather than getting lower and releasing with the inside out. That would curve it back towards the players, make it a much easier catch.
Or even against the wind, it would just come out flatter. But yeah, a really tricky one for her teammates to try and run down, as Castillo makes that quite difficult layout on sand. Look about difficulty rating of maybe 3 or 4 out of 10.
Yes.
Lasering it away though, and that's going to sail way too far. Kerr just there to marshal underneath it.
Now this is the question of, Peach plays around a potentially quite a good spot. The wind has got up, and Copenhagen Hucks just calling the timeout. Having turned over a couple of times there, both teams will be grateful for that break. But it's not necessarily a completely awful idea if you are going downwind to send one deep. Make sure at least if you're going to lose the disc, let's turn it over down there. They've got the whole field to make up. But Castillo's layout form is perfect.
Absolutely, and as the teams maybe do some tactical things to get themselves a bit of an air and a break, we're going to take a break for 2. We'll be back on the other side of these.
right now.
He's going to have to bid. Oh, just a football.
Huge layout block. Unbelievable stuff on the front corner of the end zone.
Maybe just that boost of energy they needed. Huge swing pass and a great grab there from Spear.
Help us call electric, become a member.
So second half of this women's division game at the moment, Copenhagen Hucks running away with it, leading 9-2 over Peach Please of Ireland. Of course, Ireland is a beautiful island nation with many coastal villages and towns, but not really known for having epic beaches for ultimate. More of a surf spot.
Rocks. I follow Liam Grant on Instagram. There's always rocks next to where he's surfing. That's the sum total of my Irish beach knowledge, Hannah, I'm afraid.
Well, clearly then someone needs to invite you out to the Emerald Isle to do a tour of its dramatic and gorgeous coastline. But at the moment, the drama here in this game is Peach Please's inability to take advantage of the rare errors that are coming out of Copenhagen Hucks, looking so good, but that's going to bobble out of the arm of Trinderup. Nice grab in the middle for balance. Overshoots Castillo. Tejeda had a little look at trying to redeem it.
Hard work out in the sand. Both these teams have been out here for a while now. Heavy legs starting to show up.
Trinderup. Oh, has care there, rinsing up the sideline. Very nice, easy stuff for their 10th point of this match now. 3 shy of closing the book and taking second spot in the pool, of course. Both these teams having suffered a loss to E6 of Sweden. The Swedes were absolutely delighted to best Copenhagen Hucks, who they thought had a pretty good set of offense, and we have really seen them firing on many cylinders, although not the nicest point there for the Danes.
No, it was a bit scrappy. They were obviously tired towards the end of the point, but if you can rely on anybody to be, you know, the Energizer Bunny and just keep on going, it's Srika Kerr sprinting across for that final point. When everyone else looked exhausted, she still had the power in the legs to make the point.
And we do have some love in the chat. Sophie Farnan saying, "Let's go Peaches," on some excellent peach emojis. And of course, if you want to support these streams, you can do things like stickers, super likes, but the easiest thing that costs you very little at all, just a few millionths of a joule of energy, is to click the subscribe and like buttons.
No.
And Kubra Suleimani with absolute devastation, 10-2 down, trailing by 8 points, drop pull. Let's see what Red Dome defense Peaches can do here. Can they do something to mess of it? No, not to be. Maya Milek uses her huge wingspan and finds Helle Horvang for the 11th point on the board for Copenhagen Hucks. And you can see right now the body language of the Danes is just, it's another day at the office.
They are stomping this game, and that was a gift from Peach Please. No one's likes dropping the pull. You always try and catch the pull. It's the best and easiest way to get the game started, but that was an absolute body blow at a team that is already on the rough end of a big scoreline. 11-2 the score. Copenhagen are going to run away with this one.
And they do have the pedigree on this surface at this venue. They're very familiar to being here.
It is the most beautiful place to play beach ultimate, and we've got a fantastic weather forecast for this week. It's October in Portugal. It's a pretty perfect place to play ultimate.
Until, of course, we switch to the Grandmasters division.
Yes.
A little bit later on, we might get some thunder and lightning, very, very frightening. So we'll be desperately getting our yoga mats out every morning and doing some sun salutes, see if we can coax the sun to stay here. And this is much better flow for Peach Please through the zone. Castillo from Minion. Chambers looking around. Oh, it's a hammer over the top. Jess Chambers trying to go with one hand, full layout with some style there, but it's going to just be brushing the sand off of her legs.
Well, that would have been the most spectacular of points. And a lovely flick from Lauren Minion. A little inside flick to Castillo to get the yards and get into position. But the Copenhagen Hucks defense really closed off all the options quickly.
Balder finds back. Hovang to Heller up. Oh, and that is a wonderfully executed throw into space. So much separation for Anna Nissen. She just had to wait and sit for it to fall straight into her breadbasket. The lady currently living in Aarhus. And she's not managed to make any national squads thus far, though I think post-COVID she's got her eyes on some trials. But familiar to elite level of women's ultimate, having won all types of nationals with her current club, indoors, grass and on beach. Not in the same year though, of course. That would just be greedy.
I've been impressed by Tinderup in this game, Hannah. She's got free, you know, she's quite a tall player. She's got free at will, and then having the poise to throw those big discs as well.
Well, she's another of those Danish women's players we see all the time representing on various different surfaces. But I think, I don't know this for a fact, but I would suspect, Tom, that she enjoys beach that little bit extra, because she really does perform well out here on the sand.
Just a quick conversation between the players. This is a game point for Copenhagen here. If they can stuff it in after getting that turnover.
You say stuff it in. There's been some quite nice discs like that one. A backhand's going to seal the deal to Caroline Krinderup. And Maya Milek, of course, with the assist, advancing 13-2 over Peach Please, which I believe is going to be the biggest scoreline in this Women's Pool C. But per the format, Peach Please will get an opportunity for a bit of redemption, perhaps. They will have a pre-quarter final matchup, which will come, if I can scroll through my tabs, against whoever finishes second spot even in Pool B. And of course, if you want to figure out and read through the schedule as to who those opponents might be, you can find all of the action being uploaded for your viewing delights. And whilst not maybe on this live stream, at live.ebucc.eu. That is the home for all of the stats, the live scorekeeping here at the Beach Ultimate Club Championships 2022. But that has been the end of this game. Commiserations to Peach Please. You had some moments that were good, but it was just Copenhagen Hucks all over the sand pit in front of us. I've been Hannah Pendlebury for Tom Stiles. Keep your eyes glued to the tube, because we'll be bringing up more action for you in the open division. Disco Bolo from Italia versus Chronicle Dizziness from the Netherlands. We'll be right back with you with more action on the other side.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. ULTI.TV.
Enjoying the show? Show your support for the live stream and the people making the show. Buy a super chat or super sticker on YouTube directly. Select your donation and type your message to the world. And share. All donations go into directly funding new shows. Buy a super sticker or super chat now. Thank you.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. ULTI.TV. ULTILeague.net.
ULTI.TV, EBUCC lyrical.
Vielen Dank. Merci beaucoup.
ULTI.TV.